next. Senator Joe Manchin has called himself the last Democrat standing in West Virginia, and he's here to tell us why the 2020 election results should be a big wake-up call for his party. Please welcome Senator Joe Manchin. Hey, welcome to The View.
Well, good morning. Thank you all for having me. It's a great honor, and I'm very appreciative.
Excellent. Now, we saw you-know-who in Georgia this weekend, continuing to sort of say he won when it's clear he didn't, and the whole thing was rigged, and it's all just really bad. Does it bother you that only 27 of the Republican colleagues, your Republican colleagues in Congress, are willing to say that he did lose and that we need to move forward with the President-elect Joe Biden? Well, what is this about? Is this America?
Whoopi, it should be concerning to anybody and everybody who loves democracy, loves this great country, and thinks democracy is being threatened, as I do. There's no doubt. I mean, the certifications are all done now. And the only thing I can tell you is my colleagues, and these are a lot of my friends I work with every day, they don't know how to combat 70 million Twitter followers that he might have and on his following him and his base. That's the thing they're concerned about. But I can assure you, if all 200 of these senators and Republican Congress people would just say, listen, enough's enough. I believe in America. I'm supporting our Constitution, and I'm fighting to protect democracy, they can move forward. So, you can't take on all 200.
So are you saying that they're more concerned that they're going to take a hit from Twitter than what's going on for the rest of the country? Should they even be in office if that's what they're considering important?
Well, Whoopi, the people that basically the next election in 2022 will have to make that decision. I don't know how you can live with yourself by not saying my purpose of being here as a U.S. Senator or a Congressperson is to defend and protect the Constitution. And it's very clear. An orderly transfer of power is who we are. The rule of law is who we are. That's why we are so different. That's why we're the superpower of the world and have the longest lasting democracy and government in the world. So I don't know why you won't stand up and fight for that. I've had a few of them say, Joe Biden is president-elect. They all should be saying it now because the certifications are done. And they've been almost voted. They've counted them twice in many areas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joy.
Well, they're scared. They're scared, Senator. But let me ask you this. You're the most conservative Democrat in the Senate, I would say, and often tout your willingness to work with Republicans. In fact, I think you have voted with Trump 51.6% of the time. So you are the most conservative of the Democrats. But after all of the obstruction that we've seen and their refusal to even acknowledge reality right now, as we have just discussed, why continue to work with these people who clearly aren't operating in good faith or, in the president's case, with a full deck?
Well, Joy, that's my job, okay? And the bottom line is, I've always said, if I can go home and explain it, I can vote for it. If I can't explain it, I can't vote for it. My state, as you know, is extremely conservative and red. But I'm a proud West Virginia Democrat, and I tell people I am fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. That's the way I was raised. And I still feel that to my soul and every bone in my body, that I believe that we should be compassionate to help those who can't help themselves and give people a chance that need a chance or a second chance or a hand up. That's all. And I sometimes listen to the far left and the far right, and I want to make sure that my conscience is the far left and the far right is my reality. Did we do too much? Did we put too much burden on other people? And trying to find that compromise in the middle. I've always done that.
I like that. But despite losing the election, President Trump did manage a pretty strong showing, including winning nearly 70% of the vote in your state. You've said that you can't believe that the 74 million people who voted for him were, quote, either that mad or that scared of the Democrat Party to vote for what I consider a very flawed individual. There's been a lot of talk about what Democrats got wrong this election.
Yeah.
What do you attribute it to?
Well, Sarah, I've said that how in the world could you have a person so flawed as a human being as the president? The demagogue's anybody that basically and attacks everybody that doesn't agree 100%, no matter how close you think you are or you can work with a person. And if you go against them one time or say something, then they come after you and attack you. How they could walk into the voting booth when over 230,000 people have died under his watch. The economy has basically fallen through the cracks. Wall Street seems to be doing well. Well, I can tell you, Main Street and the little towns that I come from in West Virginia, my beautiful little state, are still struggling, having a hard time. And you asked about how he won. In my state in 2018, he won in 2016 by 43%. He won again that much in 2020. So in 2018, he's extremely popular. He came to my state 6 times against me. They spent over $25 million to defeat me. And when I did win against all odds in a state that's overwhelmingly, I said, Mr. President, the people made a decision in West Virginia. They wanted their senator, not yours. But you really have to work hard at that, and you have to have that connection, and that's what, so what I think happened, we allowed them to identify us. There's an old saying in politics, you better tell your story before someone tells one on you. When they start calling us socialists, defund the police, all the things they've said, I don't know a Democrat socialist, okay, that I've worked with. I don't know a Democrat senator that would defund the police. I don't know who they're talking about, but I think those of us were not quick enough to speak up and defend who we are.
Sonny?
That's right.
Sonny.
That's right.
Well, Senator, that is correct, because you've been critical, though, of some of the more progressive members of the Democratic Party supporting measures like Medicare for all, paid maternity leave, tuition-free public college, the Green New Deal, 15-hour minimum wage, $15 an hour minimum wage. We know that a lot of these progressive policies, quite frankly, are popular with voters overall, and especially Democratic voters. So the Democratic Party has long prided itself on being a big tent party, right? So you said progressives, though, are harming the Democratic brand. So is there not room for both, especially because these policies are so very popular?
There sure is room for both, but basically, is that what's going to drive the day, Sonny? You don't run your household, you don't run your life, you don't run your business from the extremes, to the left or the right, what's considered extremes. You try to find that compromise in the middle. I'm not criticizing my colleagues. I really am not. I have a difference of opinion, and we talk about that. So the first thing that you've talked about in so many different ways, let's take paternity. I've always been for paternity leave. I have no problem with that. I think that people need to have paternity leave to take care of their children. The other things you've talked about, basically, Medicare for all. We can't even pay for Medicare for some. In West Virginia, common sense is, can't you make sure that I still have my Social Security and Medicare, which is a lifeline to so many West Virginians? That's what they care about. Can't we fix that? Can't we make sure that we have every opportunity to have affordable health care? Joe Biden ran as a moderate. Joe Biden didn't win from the left. He ran from the center and the moderate. That's what he won by. He wants to fix Affordable Care Act. I want to fix it. We want to make sure that the people that are paying high premiums and high deductibles, that we have a bill that'll bring that down. The Republicans don't want to fix it, because when you fix something, you can't blame it on that anymore. You can't use that as the whipping boy, if you will.